As we get ready to enter Rosh Hashanah and in general this whole time of year, extending through the 10 days of Tshuva and to Yom Kippur, there's a lot of focus in our liturgy and our prayers and practices of the season on God as Melech. Melech, translated simply as king. And this idea of king, of Melech, is, I think, quite foreign and hard to relate to for most people. On one level, most of us don't really know what a king is. I've never met a king. I've never lived in a country with a king. I've never been part of a kingdom. That form of relationship is just kind of outside of the boundaries of what we're familiar with. So we can speak the religious talk and understand and conceptualize the liturgy of imagining God as king. But even when we succeed in making that connection, it's a kind of abstracted impression that we come up with. It's what I might imagine a king to be like, which I've never actually encountered. So that's one level. And there's another level of, I think, kind of inherent difficulty for a lot of people with this idea, which is that, what does it mean to be in a relationship with something that has that ultimate degree of rulership, of power? That's a very uncomfortable position for many people to be in. And there's a truth that we kind of grapple with during Yom Hadin, the Day of Judgment, that is Rosh Hashanah, during this time of year, where we are invited to stand before that truth and kind of make room for that truth of some power, some reality that is ultimately in control of us and not the other way around. That dictates like a king might. What happens in the kingdom? What I want to offer today is something slightly different than that. It's more on the experiential level of how we may relate to and interact with this idea of God as king, of God as living king, Elohim Chaim. And this is based on what's found in many of the Kabbalistic sources, that the word Melech is actually a kind of acronym that's broken down to Moach, Lev, Kaved. Moach, the first letter of Melech, Moach means mind. Lev, the second letter Lamed, means heart. And Kaved, the third letter Chaf, means liver. Now, what does it mean? A Melech is a mind, a heart, and a liver? Well, this relates to another meaning or shade of the word Melech. And that has to do with the word molich, or leholich, to cause to walk, to move. The root of Melech shares a meaning with the root of that which causes motion and movement, that which puts things into motion and guides the process and movement of things. And we might think of a king in a kingdom as the one who sits in a palace and decides this goes, this yes, this no. And that's one aspect of the king's function. But the imprint of a melech is, or the activity of a melech, is actually setting into motion all of the streams of the happenings within the environment over which they are melech. And here, the Kabbalistic perspective invites us to be aware of this quality of melech in our own being, in that life that streams through us. On one level, as I spoke about, oftentimes the associations with the melech is the one who, can decide life and death for me. And there's the kind of terror of judgment around that. But there's another quality of melech that is, in a very visceral way, the cause of the flower of life in me. That's also something that I'm not truly in control of. Moach, mind, awareness, consciousness, my nervous system, that is active in me so long as I live. That is being moved through my body. Lev, the heart, the pathways of feeling, the way that I am processing my interaction with life around and within me. This is a movement that is flowing through my being. Kaved, the liver, the place that processes and filters the movement of blood in my skin, in my veins, that's animating my physical being at every moment. That's also being moved through me. So Melech is not only the one who's deciding in some kind of, conceptual idea, but Melech is that which I can contact by bringing my attention to the various levels and forms of life that play out through my being. And here it's an invitation to be in close contact with the Melech who is Molich, with that source that is guiding the process of life through me. And one other piece of this is that the word Melech is composed of letters Mem, Lamed, Kaf, which are actually in alphabetical order, or rather backwards alphabetical order, right? Kaf, Lamed, Mem goes in order. And when the letters are in order, it, in a sense, evokes the sense that things are working sequentially. Things are, a kind of causality. And in Kaf Lamed Mem, there would be a kind of causality moving outward. But when those letters Mem Lamed Kaf are turned around, there's a causality, a kind of chain of being, I would say, moving inward. In a sense, we are at the beginning towards the beginning of the alphabet, and those energies of Mem, Lamed, and Kaf are the forms of life that are streaming more and more inward into us, more and more earthward, more and more usward. So here I want to just take a few minutes to practice with you one kavanah that we can carry with us and take the time to kind of ground ourselves in the awareness of these days of Rosh Hashanah, of Asher Yemei Teshuvah, of Yom Kippur. Kind of a grounding practice that helps us get in touch with that streaming presence of Melech in our own skin, in our own field of being and experience. And in the sense, moving from Mem, Lamed to Kaf, as we'll see, brings us kind of more and more inward to that point of being very much situated here with the Melech. In a sense, that kind of heightened, very visceral close encounter that these days are about as well. And here is one way to do this. And I invite you to adapt and explore this in the ways that work best for you. But in a very simple sense, let's start with the mem. The mem is the moach. Moach is mind. Moach is the seat of awareness within us. And here, I invite you to gently just draw your attention to your awareness, to this very sense that I'm aware right now. Not so much filling it with the particulars of the what I am thinking of or aware of, but let all of the particulars, all of the details, all of the various forms of awareness that are here also kind of rest in this very basic base of mind, of awareness that exists here throughout my body, my capacity to feel and sense and experience anything and everything. And to just settle into that basic sense that I am aware. And when you're ready, moving gently more inward toward the space of the heart, the lev. You may sense the heartbeat in your chest. And letting yourself kind of enter into whatever's present around the chest and heart area, whatever feeling qualities are here, without needing to pin them down or name or identify. It's fine if something shows itself in particular form, but really letting yourself feel. And when you're ready, letting your attention drop in even a little more into the body, to the bloodstream, to that very basic flow that animates this living body. The sensation of being alive in my skin. The experience of living here in this body right now. That's being guided alive. That life is flowing through and into life each and every moment. And here to receive this wholeness of my being on all of these levels as the presence of the Melech, the guider of life. sensing that proximity, that immediacy. Melech chafetz b'chaim, we say, remember us for life. Melech, who is desiring life, sensing that in the very real here and now, in my own life. And this is a practice that you can carry with you into these days to help orient yourself, to help return to that basic point of contact, of immediate awareness of what is here, of the one we're interacting with and the one that is interacting with us. Leaving you here with the bracha, Vashana Tova, Hachel Shana Bechoteha, opening to a new year and the blessings that may emerge. Zachrenu l'chaim, Melech chafetz b'chaim. Remember us for life, Melech who desires life, and to let us have the capacity to receive and be nourished by that desire for life. Shana Tova.